Hey everybody, welcome back to the reunion show of Talking About the Talkies, the reboot, back by popular, not at all popular demand,
Our 10 listeners.
back in spite of everything,
Yeah.
some might say.
People told us to stay away, but we just kept coming.
We can't help ourselves. We just had to come together to talk about this Game of Thrones finale.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna do, and that's the intro. And if you don't like it, get the fuck. Yeah, so I got a pile of notes here, and I'm sure we probably have a lot that we want to get into because it was quite the poorly received finale to one of the most well-received TV shows ever made.
I mean, for years, people were telling me to watch it. Like, I don't know did you watch it from the very beginning?
Here's the way I got into it. I started watching it basically when it aired, and I was like, fucking hell, 14 or something at the time, so I was just Then a couple of years later, I went back and tried to rewatch it, and I did, and I got all the way up to season 4, basically caught up to what it was at that point. And do you remember when season 5, like the first 4 episodes of that leaked online?
Yeah.
And I was like, happy days, I'll watch all these. I watched 2 of them, and I was like, this is terrible. And I just stopped watching, and I didn't watch it again until I watched the whole season, or the whole series again last year.
So you've been kind of...
I have a very back and forth relationship with Game of Thrones.
See, for me, I started it in season 1. Was really intrigued by the whole Night King thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was like really cool concept. And
It paid off wonderfully.
It did, didn't it? But I kept watching season 1 and I finished. I got to the end of season 1 and I finished it, and whenever Ned died, spoilers by the way. If you haven't seen season 1 of Game of Thrones by now.
This is going to be a wee bit of a spoiler chat.
Yeah, it really is, yeah. We're going to cover most things from what, if I can remember it. I mean, I watched season 1, finished it, got the Ned part, made a massive fuss about how Ned died. Oh Lord, how I didn't know how it was going to turn out. But anyway, started season 2, didn't like it, and then completely just skipped season 2, I think. Watched a recap on YouTube and started from season 3 about 2 years ago. I got straight back into it and finished it all the way up to the end of season 7. So this was the first time I've watched this show
And have you never
on a
gone
weekly
back
basis.
Have you never gone back and watched season 2?
No. I think
You should, because it's better than season 8.
I mean, I think I might start it over again, and maybe get myself back into things again. But it's.
I was thinking what a shock it would be to go back and watch the first season after what they gave us at the end. People think so highly of the show that it's actually kind of shocking how much people have turned on it. And I really don't think it is like people just bandwagoning on it or people turning on it because it's like, oh, it's kind of cool to like hate Game of Thrones now. Because people, as I'm sure you remember at the start of the season, people were trying their best to be really optimistic about it.
Yeah.
It's not like people were just like, fuck Game of Thrones, I'm done with that shit.
Yeah.
People were like, it's kind of good. This episode, not the best, but they're building up.
I mean, it has potential.
It's getting there. You don't know. Like, there'll be good stuff later on down the line, and it got worse as it went along.
It really did.
I thought that the ending that they gave in that episode, they really just put as little effort into it as possible, and it shows.
I mean, not that the production and the directors.
No, I'm talking about two people in particular.
In particular, you're talking about D&D, Dumb and Dumber.
The legends themselves.
Yeah. I mean,
but it doesn't feel like an ending at all. It feels like another season finale to build up to another big season. Let me just go through some of the predictions I made, because I just decided, last episode, might as well just write down some predictions and send them to myself.
I mean, a lot of people have a lot of predictions about the last episode.
Well, people have their fan theories, as you were saying. So these aren't fan theories. They're just kind of basic checklist kind of things of stuff that you might maybe see in a Game of Thrones season finale. Yeah. I got like 2 of them.
Out of how many did you write? How many predictions?
8, but 2 of them have like little caveats, so kind of 10.
Okay.
And I got two of them right. So yeah, I was thinking that they might do like a cold open flashback, like a flashback kind of to like possibly characters that are now dead, like just to kind of bring them back.
Yeah.
And be like, there's your man. Something that you would see in a finale.
My Ned Stark kind of thing.
That's funny that you mentioned that, because that's the next thing I had down here was Ned Stark shout out. Or possibly a physical kind of like cameo, or like he appears in the clouds or some kind of shit like that. Now they didn't do that, but they did mention Ned Stark's name. So as soon as I heard that, I checked that off. But it didn't happen until the very end.
Ned Stark's daughter will speak for them.
I was thinking that Tyrion would probably be killed off in a very underwhelming fashion. They didn't even kill him off. It was even more underwhelming. They kept him alive for the next season, which they're going to eventually do. Probably. Thinking that they were probably going to have Jon Snow have some kind of fight with Grey Worm. Didn't happen.
That would have been good.
I was thinking that they were going to do the dragon spot with Jon Snow, which we were talking about earlier on today, but I'll just kind of extrapolate. I was of the opinion that Jon Snow, because he's a Targaryen, can't be killed by fire. I don't know if that's 100% of the case, because I know that Daenerys' brother gets his head
but that's like
scalded off him.
But that's like melted gold. I don't think that makes much sense. Or I think she says as well, if he
fire
were
can't
true,
kill a dragon or something.
Khaleesi.
He was no dragon. Fire cannot kill a dragon.
If he were a true dragon, it wouldn't have killed him or something.
Jon Snow's as true as it gets.
Yeah,
he's the truest of the true. So he should have been like eviscerated by the dragon, and then you kind of go, oh fuck, there's Jon Snow dead, and then but then they would have had to have him standing there naked.
Yeah, and it would have been
so maybe they didn't want to do that. It would have been. I think it would have been cool, but I think they would have maybe thought that it was too, I don't know.
Yeah,
nakedy. Because
you mentioned earlier. They had a couple of moments where you thought that was going to happen. Like one I can name, it was with the frost dragon when he's screaming at it for no reason. That's another fan theory, by the way, where people are saying he's saying go and he's saying it to Arya. Can someone answer me how he would have seen Arya or knew where Arya was?
Don't even try and make sense of that. That's all completely bollocks.
Yeah.
I thought that they were going to have fucking hell. I'm ripped, boys.
You're ripped.
Why did you apologize?
Bargain binge.
I thought they were going to have Daenerys cry or like show some signs of regret, but they had Jon Snow cry instead. Yeah. And she didn't really show any regret.
That's because she didn't.
She felt justified.
Yeah. She had gone full mad queen at this stage.
She went to her grave thinking that she was right.
Yeah. And that's all that matters, and I'm happy for Dany. I'm glad she's dead.
I thought they were going to do the thing with Arya where... this is another thing that I meant to ask. Am I imagining this, or can she not like shapeshift or teleport or something into other people's bodies?
She can take the faces of other people.
What does that mean?
That she kills.
So she has to kill them and then wear their face?
I think that's what it is. I can't remember, or I think she can just do it. I can't remember. It's been so long. It was a year ago, and I've been binge watched it.
So they forgot about that, I guess.
Yeah,
because they haven't done that since.
Yeah, I think a lot of people weren't happy with that. Yeah, I was talking to a couple of colleagues today, and they were saying that they thought that Arya was maybe going to wear Jon's face. And it was going to be Arya killing the queen and fulfilling not the prophecy, because Dany's eyes aren't green, so it doesn't matter. What was that prophecy? Someone answer that too. Everyone's just going to be calling and going, you don't fucking know anything about Game of Thrones, you absolute idiot.
You know nothing, Stephen Pearson.
You know nothing, Stephen Pearson. Get a job.
Because the extent of everybody's powers in this are completely ridiculous, because there's characters that can do all this stuff until they can't. And then there are characters that just like they have like these strong motivations until they don't.
Yeah, and it's kind of like how Bran could have just stopped everything if he really, really, really wanted to.
To be fair, then there's no show if Bran can do that.
Have you got any more predictions?
The only one I had was actually the last one I got right. Stark's happy ending. Not only Stark's happy ending, Stark's potential spin-off ending. That's as happy as it gets.
Is that what you said? Yeah.
No, I wrote Stark's happy ending. I actually was thinking potential spin-offs, but then I was like, nah, they're not going to do that.
No,
but then they did anyway.
See, but the reason I thought that they might have done that from the start is because we all know, everyone who watches Game of Thrones knows that there's going to be more series come out of it. So apparently there's 3 different spin-offs or something like that. I don't know if that's still true, if that is even true from the start. They have the potential of start doing another season if they wanted to.
Yeah, no, they 100% do, which is one of the reasons why I thought that the finale was so shitty, is because, like, there's no reason not to have another season at this point, because there was no, like, generally whenever you end a show, you want to be like, man, that's it.
To start off, I thought that they were going to have Sansa or Bran take over the throne. I thought that maybe they were going to do it where Jon Snow was going to be so stubborn that he'd be like, no, I don't want the throne. They were going to try and make him, but he'd be like, no, I don't want it. And then they would just sort of be like, right, okay, well, if he doesn't want it, then they'll give it to Bran or Sansa. And I thought that they were going to give it to Sansa, but then they'd be like, hold on, but Sansa's a woman. And this is the olden times. So maybe we'll give it to Bran, and then they give it to that wee useless dickhead.
The people in the north, though, they're a lot more progressive.
Yeah.
They don't mind having their single sassy queen.
Yeah, I think I was just being quite stupid with that.
I predicted it. I mean, you did get Bran the broken dick, right?
I didn't think there's anything. Everything I predicted, I didn't know it was going to happen that exact way. Yeah. I mean, I predicted Jon was going to kill Dany, but I think everyone predicted that.
That was a gimme. Hey, let's get into that episode. Yeah. I never thought I would say this before, but it was that mass genocide that she committed was completely ignored. Yeah. Or kind of swept under the rug. Like, they were acting as if she hadn't done that. Yeah. But she clearly is a horrible monster.
Apart from Jon Snow, that was like, hold on, no, but like, she's my queen, and I want to rule under me queen. You met her. You loved her as quickly as you met her, and then now you've killed her.
Instantly in love.
Yeah, I mean,
for no reason. So yeah, basically everybody's just kind of dead. They walk through the streets. Everybody's like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, they find the wee girl with the horse, the white horse symbol thing that was. Yeah.
And then everybody's dead, and they eventually go to hang out with Daenerys or confront her. But they don't go to confront her. Jon Snow doesn't confront her until later on.
Yeah, no. Apart from Tyrion, he's like the only person that confronts her.
He's fed up.
This is after.
I'm fed up.
Yeah, I mean, this is after he sees Jaime and Cersei Lannister just dead in the rubble.
I like the fact as well that apparently, coincidentally, Jaime Lannister's giant gold hand was sticking out of the rubble for Tyrion to see it. Yeah. And also, they weren't buried particularly deep. Yeah. So I feel like they probably wouldn't have died because there was only like 6 stones on top of them.
I feel like they somehow landed on top of the stones within a couple more stones.
They mostly seemed fine. Like a couple of bruises and like, a wee bit of blood.
No, I don't think...
Not like caved in by stones. Not like buried in rubble and dead.
Put a screenshot up of that scene, because I don't think there's any cuts or bruises on it.
There's like a wee trickle of blood on Jaime, probably.
I mean, if you were crushed by a massive...
I mean, if you were crushed, you'd literally be like a pile of spuds in the corner. You wouldn't have any bone structure.
But then we're being a bit too realistic for a TV show with dragons.
I get it. I just think it's stupid. Yeah, so he finds his dead family, and then he's officially fed up. He goes and storms off. Or he storms to Daenerys and says, I'm done. Fuck you for killing everybody. I'm finished. He throws his pin off dramatically. Everybody goes, oh. Yeah. And then she's like, get this wee cunt out of here. Don't kill him straight away. Yeah. Put him in the prison and let him hang out. And then have a long conversation where he convinces Jon Snow to murder me.
I mean, and fair play to Tyrion, because he's like, yeah, I fucking let go my brother. I did it. And then he's like, you just killed thousands of people. And she's just like, I suppose. And then throws him in the jail. Why didn't she just burn him like she killed Varys as soon as she found out that he was... Like, that's another plot to armor.
But she hadn't already killed him by that point. And I was like, I went in the last episode being like, why is Tyrion allowed to just kind of show up and hang out with the army? Yeah. Because obviously at that point, she obviously already knows that he's released Jaime Lannister and he got away. Yeah. So why doesn't she just kill him straight away? Because I guess she just doesn't care.
She forgot.
And she forgot to. And then whenever he threw away her pin, she was like, "Oh fuck! Now I remember why I have to kill you."
Yeah.
But then she doesn't kill him. She just kind of puts him in the jail.
And then 5-10 minutes later pass and she's dead.
I assumed that Jon Snow was kind of being smart and conservative about this whole thing, and he was like, "Well, I'm not going to lose the rag with Daenerys because then she's just going to throw me in jail and kill me."
Yeah, but
it turns out that he actually is very conflicted about it, and I would say is leaning towards just kind of moving past the mass murder.
Yeah, I feel like if he hadn't had that conversation with Tyrion, things would have just went on the way they were going. And I mean...
Yeah, he didn't seem overly bothered by it. It's so weird that it's Daenerys that they've decided to do this with, because she's literally committed the worst act of any of the characters in any
worse than
any of the history or lore of the show.
Yeah.
There have been people that have done horrible things, but it's like, that's like a million miles above horrible thing. It's
I mean,
literal mass murder and genocide of a city.
Yeah, people talked about it. People said, "Oh, you're going to be like your father." And then she would be like, "No, but I'm not." Yeah, fair enough. Like they were building up to it.
You could say that they were building up to it, but I feel like they skipped some pretty crucial stuff in the middle, because it goes from being pretty bad and then her murdering everybody in an entire city full of people.
Yeah.
Such a drastic turn for a character that up until that point is like, obviously the whole way through she's kind of a dickhead, and she's pretty spiteful. I'll kill people who get in my way or disobey me or whatever.
Bend the knee or else
Bend the knee or I'll burn you to death. But she's I would say pretty far beyond murdering hundreds of thousands of innocent people.
Yeah.
I would say like, nah, that's a wee bit too far of a stretch, but they did it anyway.
They did.
And then they went back and they were like, they tried to give Jon Snow motivation to not want to kill her because he loves her. And I'm like, how could that be a thing though?
I mean, like there wasn't, if there was a couple of episodes to maybe build up to him killing her or something like that there.
But they already had fucking 8 seasons of this show.
Yeah.
They didn't need more episodes. They've been dilly-dallying since season 5.
Yeah. So we were talking about how John... Oh, careful now.
Who, me?
No, Jon Snow. We were talking about how...
That cunt?
Yeah. So he let's just get into him killing Dany.
Let's get right into my favourite part.
Dany's in this room by herself. No one there to protect her at all.
Yeah, no protection for the most vicious, murderous person.
The most hated person.
The most hated person in Westeros.
At the very minute in this time.
Completely alone in a giant castle in the middle of a city that she just firebombed.
Yeah, and to be fair, they send in the very, very admirable, very loyal Jon Snow. So they probably didn't expect him to kill her with this knife. Anyway, Jon gets to this throne room. Dany's all like, I'm buzzing about this seat, but doesn't actually ever sit on it. That's the one thing.
Symbolism.
She never got to sit on it. She only got to touch it once. But anyway, he gets there and he's like, Dany, I really fucking love you, but you're an absolute mad bastard. And just absolutely shanks her in the mouth with a knife. That's not exactly what happened, but he stabs her.
He gets her in the belly.
Yeah, is it the belly?
They do the whole thing where you're not sure who stabbed who for a while.
Really? I knew Jon stabbed her.
Because I thought that she stabbed him.
Really?
Because at that point I was so convinced that this moron was just in it for the long haul.
And then Drogon, just, that's the Belfast coming out of me. Drogon just flies up and he's like, oh, fuck's sake, Jon, you fucking killed Dany on me. What the fuck did you do that for? And instead of burning, like we were talking earlier, instead of burning Jon, Drogon just somehow knows to burn the seat. He's like, fuck the seat. The throne of the seat. It's just a seat.
It is a seat, really.
It is. You do sit on it.
It's true. You do sit on it.
So
we've seen people sitting on it.
Yeah.
A lot.
People do sit on it. That's true.
True. Not Dan and Daenerys.
Daenerys. They don't get.
She don't get to sit on the throne. She's not good enough.
She gets killed, and Drogon, he comes up and he's all like, Jon, fuck you," and then he burns the seat, instead of burning John, the seat. So like I don't get it. Like how did he know to do that? Why did he have the instinct to do that?
It's a smart animal. He understands symbolism.
And he's like, no one gets the seat.
Yeah, whenever I was watching it, Kate was like, how did he know to do that? And I was like, I don't know.
He didn't know how to do that. He just did it.
He threw a fit.
To be fair, I thought it was one of the nicest looking shots, like him like firing at this the seat, and like the seat's the throne is like melting. It's like melting there and everything. And I was like, that's really cool, because to be honest, it looks kind of like wood. You forget that it's made out of actual swords.
They give the sad, mournful, respectful death to the horrible monster that torched the city.
That they created in 2 episodes. Yeah. I mean, Jon Snow hasn't done anything this season like heroically. I mean, you know why everyone's kind of like, Jon Snow's the main man. He's the coolest man. He's like the biggest guy there. You know,
he's definitely not the coolest man.
Not the coolest man. Not the biggest guy either. He is the main guy.
You are my queen. Now and always.
But he doesn't do anything this season. He just sort of mopes around, stabs the old boy.
See, that's another thing as well, is that people were talking about how they thought Arya was going to do some kind of thing and she would be the one to kill Daenerys, and I knew she wouldn't be, because she already killed the Night King. And I'm thinking that they're booking this just like, well, we can't do that because she's already done something this season, so we'll give one of the other idiots something to do. Yeah,
in the last couple of episodes, Arya's just sort of been like you probably would agree with me here, she's just been running around. Like basically, she's been getting to one point and going, oh.
But she's just gonna go now and explore the 7 seas or the 6 seas.
But I mean, do you know what I'm getting at? Like I'm saying, like instead of her running around fucking King's Landing trying to dodge the dragons and bringing people out of safe places, apparently being like, you're not safe here, and then them getting murdered. Like instead of her doing shit like that, why not just have her not be in it?
We do not need payment. We need justice. Jon Snow cannot go free.
And then Grey Worm at the end is like, I want Jon Snow dead. And they're like, no, good enough? And he's like, good enough.
Fair enough.
Let's get out of here, boys.
My work is done here.
What do you mean your work is done? You didn't do anything.
Didn't I?
But that's her done. That's her arc done in that episode, right?
I hope so.
Jon gets... No, that's just it. That is it done. So she's dead. Jon goes to jail for it. So they figure out it's Jon. I don't know. Jon must have... I mean, someone must have come up and been like, Jon, where did all this blood come from? And why is the seat burned? Jon could have been like, the fucking dragon took Dany and it just flew off and it burned the seat. Why couldn't he have done that? But he was like, he must have been like, I fucking killed her. She said she was gonna stab my sister.
You would not give up the fact that you just murdered the queen.
Yeah.
In a place where the queen is literally the only person left alive, apart from murderous soldiers.
Yeah, her absolute loyal...
But they have the decency just to keep him alive.
Alive for some reason.
Long enough for all of his family to travel down from Winterfell and then have a meeting about how classy...
With a prisoner.
Yeah, a meeting chaired mostly by a guy who's supposed to be a prisoner.
Who's not supposed to talk, by the way.
But they have the decency to give him a 10-minute monologue to kind of wrap things up.
And that scene, I have to admit...
We'll move on to that scene because it's probably the worst scene of the entire show.
A lot of it felt like there should have been like... You know how in comedies and like stuff... A lot of it felt like a lot of the dialogue and a lot of the way they were talking to each other and stuff. There should have been like a bum ba dum bum 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 bum, like after like Sam cracks like a tiny wee joke and stuff like that. There,
you could tell that was in there. It was in the draft for ages where they just didn't actually write it. They were just like, insert a scene here where everything kind of just gets wrapped up. Yeah,
where they decide who's the king and stuff.
They're about to publish on their final draft. And they're about to send it over to HBO. And they're like, oh, bollocks, you know what we done? Us idiots. We forgot to write the scene where everything gets wrapped up.
So they just...
And they're just like, let's just have a couple of drinks here and see what we can fire out. And see if anybody calls us on it.
In statecraft. And an understand...
Please sit.